My mission is to convince people and to show them that everyone can live in a sustainable and healthy house, and everyone can change their surroundings without spending a lot of money.
This is the Regenerative Real Estate Podcast. Revitalizing the world together. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Regenerative Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Neal Collins. I am also the co-founder of Latitude that supports this show. And I've got to tell you, I cannot even believe that this work, this labor of love for me, has gone around the globe. I am just so floored and humbled by the support and the feedback that our listeners are showing to us. Oh man, it just makes this truly worthwhile to know that what we care about is also what other people care about. And if you're tuning in for the first time, the reason why we started this show is because we wanted to take what we are really passionate about, the environment and helping people and planet thrive, and combine that with our business, which was real estate. Now, you would think, other people should be doing that. But in our corner of the industry, in the sales side, it is transactional thinking and transactional design at the best. And we realized that if we wanted to help solve some of these major problems that we are facing in the 21st century, we needed to help really push the industry along, to find ways that we can use the built environment as the catalyst for societal and global transformation. And so we are now 23 episodes into the show. And I've got to tell you, after taking the time to interview some truly incredible people in the sustainability and the regenerative space, what I have learned is that this is a process. This is not something that you just jump into. You don't become a regenerative change agent overnight. You don't even jump into having a sustainable house overnight. It is about inner transformation, about aligning your values and your interest and your passion with what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Because for us, that was taking our love of the environment and our business of real estate and pushing those two together to say, can we create something that the world has never seen that is also what the world needs right now? And so that is why I'm very pleased to announce our next guest, who comes from us, who is a rising YouTube star under the channel Savagaya. And this is a young architect out of Poland that is really exploring sustainable real estate and what that means. Her journey is about overcoming her internal fear and putting herself out there to the world to explore a subject matter that we sorely, sorely do need. And I know that you're going to get a lot out of this episode. If you have not taken the opportunity to engage in our Facebook community, go on Facebook right now, type in Regenerative Real Estate. We are a group of change makers from across the globe. And I want to know what you're thinking about. I want to know what kind of projects you're interested in, or even if you are a homeowner and you're trying to incorporate more sustainability into your life, come on there, talk about what you're interested in, because what I'm realizing is that sustainable and regenerative real estate is a huge overarching banner. You know, you've got people that are very passionate about passive house or about pocket neighborhoods or new urbanism, or even we see a lot of youngsters that are in their teenage years that are grasping for ways to live more in alignment and to make a difference. And you see them really pushing forward the zero waste movement. So sustainable living, as we have talked about this before, it's always been framed as how do we do less bad? And that's where the regenerative part came in, was framing this to say, what does good look like? And for us in the real estate industry, we have a lot of improvement to do. We can definitely up our game to give clients way better counsel of how do you transform your house that is not only more energy efficient, but is really going to give back to you. It's really going to promote health and wellness so that you and your family can thrive. And if you're doing that, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you're also helping the planet thrive. In our journey of regeneration, we are in the restoration and revitalization phase. And as long as we understand that that's where we are, then we can really look at where we need to go. So without further ado, thank you again for tuning into this message and to this show. It is inspiring to be doing this work. Let's jump into today's show. Today we have got Natalia Szyk-Trocha. She is joining us from Natalia. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Natalia, we always start off of where in the world are you? And we've had a lot of US and Canada and UK based guests, but you're not there. I'm just gonna go spoiler alert. Where are you?
I'm from Poland. I can introduce myself very quickly. So I'm an architect, a YouTuber, and founder of Savagaya platform. It's a platform devoted to sustainable architecture and interior design and conscious living. My biggest goal is to I don't know, show the people that everyone can live in a sustainable, healthy home, regardless the wealth.
I love that. I originally found you because of your YouTube videos, and I thought it was like a Polish movie star that was started to do sustainability in real estate. I just thought, oh my God, I've got to tune in more to this. And I love the stuff that you're putting out there. And then we had the opportunity to connect. And your story is even better than I could have ever imagined. So, I mean, for people that are interested and they're listening, you've got to tune into Savagaya on YouTube and on her Instagram channel. But first off, what does Savagaya mean?
Savagaya is connection of two words: save Gaia, so save the earth, and this is my idea, to save the earth. And well, how everything started, like at the moment, my job is connection of my passions of architecture, traveling, slow life, conscious living. And so someone can say that I'm living my dream and this is the truth, but it hasn't always been this way. Like for me, the most important thing is freedom. And when I was studying, I studied architecture and urban planning in Poland. And during the studies, I lived 1 year in Spain. I done internship in Amsterdam in architectural office, and I used to travel a lot. And then I finished my studies and I finished my travels. And that was a tough time for me. Well, at the beginning, I was really excited. I was working in architectural office in Warsaw, and first year was good. Second year, worse, because my life, well, I started to live. My life looks like a routine. So I stopped traveling. I left only for 2 weeks holidays during a year. I lost my freedom and I didn't feel good. I started to have health problems with breathlessness. And that was a time when I thought I need to change something. I don't want my life to look like this. I always wanted to have freedom and to do whatever I want. So I quit the job. I packed all my stuff, left my apartment, and me and my husband, we bought the tickets for 2 months journey to Thailand and Cambodia. And so we left to Thailand to figure out what to do with our lives. And so we were living there on the tiny islands, in huts on the beach, on the beaches. And one day we went for a walk through the jungle, and this is the day when everything has changed, because this jungle has been destroyed from the inside. They're building huge resorts, cutting all the trees with roots, and this looks terrible to me. I remember this day I was walking through the jungle and I was horrified. I started to cry, and I thought, this is not how we should build. I know we can build huge resorts, but in a different way, not that destructive for our planet. So yeah, that was in the middle of our trip in Thailand. And so I started to think what I can do about it. And I thought, I'm going to work with sustainable architecture. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but from that moment, things just, I don't know, started to happen. I get more interested with sustainable architecture, and I was thinking, what should I do? How can I help the planet? How can I show the people that we can build in a different way? So then I thought, the easiest way is to make videos about sustainable architecture and eco houses, because people like videos, and and it's easy to make, it's easy to show, I don't know, beautiful buildings, and convince people that I don't know, sustainable architecture may be really pretty. And but I didn't know how to make videos. I didn't even know how to take a good picture. All of my friends were always laughing, like, you cannot take a good picture. They never gave me camera when we were all together. I've never got the camera because all my pictures were like crap. So okay, we got back from the Thailand. We have spent all of our savings, so so that was pretty tough time. Me and my husband, we had to move to my mom's apartment for some time, and I thought, we planned another trip to the Netherlands in few months. So I had few months to earn money and to kind of, I don't know, grow all the Savagaya on my platform. Because during the trip, I was planning to start doing my videos of sustainable houses. So during these few months, I don't know, there was like 4 or 5 months, during the day, I was working as a freelance architect. And during the nights and evenings, I was working with Savagaya, I don't know, doing website, and I don't know what I was doing by this time, but everything was so new to me, and I don't really remember that very well, because things were happening so fast. I don't know, kind of magic were happening, like just everything started to work, but I don't remember how I made all of the decisions. It's just, I don't know, I was going with the flow.
What year was this?
That was 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so what, 2018? No, 19? 2019. Okay, so with the videos, we have so a few months later, we packed our stuff once again to our car, and left to Holland. And that was the time when I had to shoot my first video. And first video I wanted to do was at the Dutch Design Week. It's well, one of the biggest design festivals in Europe. And I had to interview people over there and shoot everything. I bought 1-day ticket for the festival, so I knew I got like 6 hours to do everything. And that was the very first day when my very first video. So I got to the festival. I'm pretty introvert person. Like I've never interviewed anyone before. I've never felt very well in front of the camera, or I don't. I have friends, but I'm not this outgoing person. I'm pretty shy. Maybe I don't look like, but I'm really am. So I got to the festival, and I was like, okay, so I got 6 hours to do all the shootings, all the interview with people, and I just have to do it. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. And I thought that I've got nothing to lose, because by the end of the day, no one knows me. So if I'll do something stupid, they're going to forget a few days later. Like, okay, and I also think that you lose 100% of chances you don't take. So if you don't take them, you lose them. So it's better to try it if you have nothing to lose. So I get to the festival. I turned on my camera, and that was the time when magic started to happen. Like, I felt like I was in my world. I started to shoot everything, talking to people, interview everyone. Like, these 6 hours passed super quick, and I was really excited. I felt like this is what I I wanted to do for my whole life. Like, really, I felt amazing. And then I got home after the festival. I show all the shootings to my husband, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is really good." I was like, "Yeah, this is good. I don't know how come, but this really looks good." And I was really excited. Um, so yeah, this were the beginnings, and actually the first video of from this that design week is available online, so so you can check how does it look like. And I felt that this is something I want to do for life. This really felt amazing. Yeah. And yeah, and I got 1 more month in Amsterdam left. So during this month, I interview, I don't know, like 4 or 5 really good architects. I shoot some eco houses, some eco estates, floating estates, and every time when I turn on my camera, I'm in the other world, like the world of magic, where everything is possible for me.
Natalia, how are you finding the projects in the eco estates?
So at the beginning, when I was in Amsterdam, first I was looking for the projects via internet, and then connecting via architects, always this way. So first I had a meeting with architects talking about the project, and then they told me where the house or the estate exactly is. Sometimes um, they gave me the contact to the owners of the house, or I don't know, connect me somehow with the owners. And then I went there to make shootings, to make a video. That was this is how I worked when I was in Amsterdam. So my first videos ever. A few months later, I left to Uruguay for a few months, and I work in different ways. So I was looking for the houses because well, I was looking for the houses via Airbnb booking. I was looking for sustainable houses because I stayed in these houses. Actually, I lived there for a few days, and during my stay, I was making videos about the houses, so that was easier for me. Few houses I shooted 2 houses, 2 awarded houses, but designed by awarded architect. And in this case, I contact the architect before. But usually, what I do now, I find houses somehow by internet, by Airbnb or booking, and contact directly to the owners.
I mean, what I love about this story, and I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, newer entrepreneurs particularly, that they get really caught up and they're just worried about what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. and they're just kind of grasping at like, I don't know if I could do that. And they get really caught up in the right way to do things. And your story is one of, well, I'm terrible at videos, but I know that people are watching them, and I'm just going to go do it. And you figured it out. And I love the fact that you combined your passions with your skills and you put them together. And not only did you see it in Europe where it's easy to travel around, but it started in Thailand and then you went to Uruguay. Hey everybody, this is Neal. We are going to get back to this great conversation in just 1 second. But I think it's fair to say that right now we are facing some pretty unprecedented challenges in the 21st century. I mean, you name it, environmentally, socially, economically, we've got some big problems that we need to overcome. And that's why, for me personally, and the people that work with us at Latitude, we want to dedicate our time and our energy so that we are not only working to put food on the table and a roof over our heads, but also make the world a better place. And so if you are at all interested in combining your sustainability values with a very powerful financial model of real estate, then I highly encourage you to check out what we are doing at Latitude. We are creating something truly special with a tribe of change agents that for now is working across North America. And hopefully one day in the future, with you coming on board, we can be working across the globe. So please check us out. You can go to www.chooselatitude.com, or you can find us on social media at latitude.realty on Instagram, and we are also on Facebook. Okay, let's get back into it. What I'm very curious about is you have a global perspective that not a lot of people have by putting boots on the ground. What is going on in the field of sustainable real estate and sustainable architecture from your perspective?
Well, I will answer this question on the example of the Netherlands and Uruguay because these are two countries I know pretty well. I lived there. I filmed many sustainable houses, interviewed many architects and designers. And what might be surprising to you, to everyone, Uruguay and Netherlands have a lot in common. They're two small countries with very, very conscious people, with people who have a lot of freedom, and they're conscious about their lifestyle, sustainable development, environment. But they also have many differences. So the Netherlands is really packed with people. And I have this feeling that every centimeter of the Netherlands is planned or developed because they don't have a lot of space, so they have to think very well about every centimeter of the land, and they think a lot of new technologies, new materials, new ways of building, of designing. Most of the new technologies, new materials I know them from the Netherlands. I had this opportunity to visit Dutch Design Week last year and also this year's edition, but online. And I had a pleasure to speak to many designers, and they're developing new materials, new technologies, building on the water, making houseboats, building by using mushrooms, fungi. There is a lot of new ideas I've learned over there. And also in the Netherlands, there is pretty huge problem with water, with sea level, because huge part of the country is below the sea level. So if the ocean's level will rise 1 meter, they're gonna have a huge problem. So right now they're thinking, not thinking, they're actually doing it. They're building on the water. Many people already lives on the houseboats, but they're also designing and constructing
the whole estates on the water. I filmed one of the estates on the water in Amsterdam. It's very well. That was very inspiring, made by cool architects, Space and Matter from Amsterdam. You can check the video on my YouTube. Very, very inspiring project. And but on the other side, so well, most of their buildings are packed with these new technologies. But on the other side, there is also a way in in the Netherlands. They design a lot with bio-based materials. So as I told you, what I saw on the Dutch Design Week, they developed new materials by using plant-based materials, algae, fungus. They're trying to reconnect with nature. And Uruguay is way much different because half of the people live in the capital, in Montevideo. And actually in Uruguay is 22 times has less population density than Holland. So many people have opportunity to have second house on the countryside, on the coast. They're surrounded by the nature, there are many parks, but also they are less developed. So many people have off-grid houses, not because they wanted to have such a house, maybe also, but they had no other choice because there was, for example, no water or no electricity. So they had to figure out many times by themselves what to do about it. So that's why many houses are off-grid, and not by using the most new technologies. Many times they develop technologies by themselves. Actually, half of the houses I filmed in Uruguay, I don't know, I filmed like 15 houses, so let's say 7-8 houses I filmed, were houses designed and built by the owners, which were the architects. Many times the houses were built by using second-hand materials, recycled materials, and so let's say in Uruguay their goal is to be closer to the nature, and as I told you at the beginning, they're really conscious about environment and climate change and stuff, but they do it in a different way than in the Netherlands. But both Netherlands and Uruguay have the same goal, to lower their carbon footprint and, well, to live in a more sustainable way. And actually looking at the global trends in the sustainable development, sustainable built environment, you can compare it to the Netherlands and to Uruguay, because there are these two, I don't know, let's say streams. So the first one is to develop new technologies, build high-tech buildings, smart homes, packed with all the electronic devices and everything that can control everything. And the other way is to reconnect with nature and to, well, circular economy, use recycled materials, just connect to the nature once again. So I think these are two main trends I can see, and both of them are good, and we need both of them. I can say that this one is good, this one is bad. No, we need both of them. Yeah.
So I'm curious about Poland, where and why I want to bring up Poland is a conversation that I've been having here, because I spent a significant amount of time in Central Europe and Eastern Europe, and my experience there was in the village side, where everybody just had gardens. It was like lot line to lot line, beautiful gardens, and we would do canning in the summertime to put things up for the winter, and it was very much seasonal eating. There was a lot of livestock that was was in the villages. And here in the United States, I've had people tell me that only rich people can afford to garden, whenever it was actually quite opposite. In
Really?
most of the world that I've been, gardening was either a way of life or something that they did because they didn't have the connection to the supermarkets and things like that. So I'm very curious about Poland because you're caught in between kind of a more Eastern Europe and Russia and
Hmm.
in Europe to the west, and it's such a precarious geographical position, but it feels like there's a different times are changing there.
Yeah. So people in Portland mostly are, yeah, I can say mostly, I'm not sure, but probably yes. We are really connected to the nature. We have a lot of woods in Poland, a lot of certified woods, forests. And I think we are really connected to nature. And people, like on the countryside, most of the people have big garden and big fields, and it's something that I don't know, we want to have. And um but well, what you said, like at the beginning of my journey, I thought that sustainable architecture is something for rich people, for people who have a lot of money. In Poland, most of the people think that eco house is something like, it's a high-end product. You need to have a lot of money to build a sustainable house. And at the beginning of my sustainable journey, I thought the same. and during after this 1 year and a half, 2 years, I understood that the sustainable house doesn't need to mean high-tech passive house with heat pump, solar panels, and I don't know, mechanical ventilation. It may need it means a lot more. Like you don't need to have a lot of money to build an eco house. And I like to use the words eco house because it means everything and nothing. So yeah, but well, I'm trying to change people's Polish people's mind that you need a lot of money to build an eco house. And you can say that many people in Poland who live on the countryside, they kind of have sustainable houses because, and most of them are off-grid, uh, because there is no other way to build them, because there is no, I don't know, water or sewage system. So they need to figure out everything by themselves. Yeah.
And I think that's very important, is that my experience has been they've looked to more developed countries and thought, wow, we want to be like that. Uh, but we had a water project in Moldova that was very interesting. It was a 600-year-old village, and our job was to drill into an aquifer 2 kilometers away and bring potable water to the houses in this small village. And here we are thinking that this is a good project and that it's going to get met with good reception because the mayor wanted to do this. But the people were so upset that for the first time in their lives, they're going to have to pay for water whenever they usually would just go out and get it from the well. I mean, there was problems with arsenic and other heavy metals in the well water from a lot of chemical agriculture for years before that. But it's still it is not a black and white issue. And I'm curious if people in the urban centers, like in Warsaw and Krakow, do they long for the countryside? Like, do they have nostalgia for it?
Now, in time of COVID-19, you can see a huge trend. People really want to move to countryside because during this lockdown, living in a big city wasn't really nice. Like the capital of Warsaw, I'm from the capital, so you don't have a lot of green spaces, parks, and over there. So so well, sometimes I think that I live in kind of a bubble, and people who surround me and my friends, my family, they're really conscious, and they they willing to spend time on the nature, on the countryside. So I can probably say for, I don't know, 30% of Polish people that they think in the same way that I think. But probably, for example, I don't know what people from countryside, like real people from countryside, what they think. Maybe they really want to move to the city. But my friends and people from my surroundings, yes, most of them, like I'm in my 30s, so we are at the time when everybody's, I don't know, getting married, having babies and stuff. And we don't want to raise our babies in the polluted cities. Like in Poland, we have huge problem with polluted air. Warsaw is terrible. I think 40 of our countries 40 of our cities are in the top 100 most polluted cities in the world.
Oh my goodness.
Which is terrifying. So but actually some countrysides are also very polluted because people don't have enough money, and they burn trash, which makes the air polluted. So it's not that black and white with living in a city or in the countryside, because countrysides many times are also very polluted. But yeah, I think people are getting more conscious, and they really want to live healthy life and be in healthy surroundings. If the city could give them everything, like healthy fresh air, a lot of greens, and this kind of stuff, many of them probably would like to stay in the city, but you cannot get this in the city.
Yeah, and I love that you're using the word consciousness, because it really is one of the most fitting terms to describe an awakening that I'm seeing, certainly for here in North America. And it sounds like it is a global phenomenon that it spans all borders, and it really underscores the importance of our work. Even talking about this on a podcast of like what is going on in different parts of the globe, and is consciousness rising, because we feel it, and we may be working proactively every single day where other people have different occupations, but it's certainly palpable. And I hope that through your videos, through podcasts like this, we can collectively do it. And I love that you grabbed a camera and you went out and you did it. And I love the videos. They're amazing. I especially, I was watching a show the other day, and I'm going to go off on a tangent. But it was a chef's table episode where they dubbed over the native language in English so that we couldn't hear the native language. And I thought, what a travesty. Instead of just putting subtitles so that we could read along, it just sounded terrible. And one of the things that I see with the degradation of nature is also the degradation of culture. And language is such an important part of that. And so that's why I was like, you know what, Natalia, I've got to reach out, and I've got to have her come on, because I really did think that you're a Polish movie star. And I think that you could easily go in that direction if you didn't want to pursue architecture any longer. So I'm enamored by what you're doing, and I hope that you do more of it.
Yeah, I hope not just Polish star. I hope for more. But about what you say, degrading our culture, I lived in a very beautiful building in when I was in Uruguay. My first week, I lived in the capital in Montevideo, in 150-year-old building in the old city center, in Art Nouveau style. It was a bed and breakfast run by two artists, and and they renovate all the building. It was full of art, full of furniture from flea market. Most of them, also most of the furniture were renovated by them. I still haven't. I made video about this building, but it's still not edited. But that was amazing. That when you entered this building, you really felt spirit like from the 100 years ago. Like you could imagine all the parties that were going on over there. Like it was really beautiful. And so as I told you at the beginning of my journey, I thought that eco house is a passive house with photovoltaic panels, but now I don't think this way anymore. Like for example, this was an eco house for me also, because you didn't use new materials to build new buildings. Like most of the stuff in this building were recycled, so you didn't polluted the air, the environment to create this space, and it was really amazing.
Yeah, embodied carbon is a big topic that I feel like is certainly on the rise. Natalia, for the conclusion of this, I want to ask a new question. You're the first person I've asked this to, but what is the impact that you want your work to have?
What is the impact? I think it's the thing I told you at the beginning. Like my mission is to convince people and to show them that everyone can live in a sustainable and healthy house, and everyone can change their surroundings without spending a lot of money. So this is what I would like to do, and yeah, I want to convince people and give them and show them how to make it, how to live in a healthy way, more healthy way.
Well, I definitely think that you're doing it, and thank you for taking the time to come on here. Okay, everybody, that is a wrap. This is another just great episode that I'm so glad that you're able to tune in. And thank you for being interested in regenerative real estate. What we are trying to do is help people and planet thrive together by using the built environment as a catalyst. And so I've got a couple big asks for you. Number one is, can you please go to wherever you're listening to this podcast, leave us a rating and review. Those actually go so far. And since this is such a passion project for us, we really want to be able to attract the best thought leaders from around the world. Second is that if you really like the content that we're putting out, you can find us on our own Medium publication called Regenerative Real Estate. We also have a very active community on Facebook, which is called Regenerative Real Estate and Design, which you can request to be a part of, and we would love to have you. And third, this goes to what we do every single day, helping buyers and sellers demystify sustainability by working with people that want to either buy a property and are trying to figure out the financing of how do I actually live out my values? How do I put that water catchment system on there? Or how do I go finance a solar panel PV array? Or maybe I want to live closer to nature. And what are the properties that are out there that I can do that? And so we represent buyers like that. We also happen to represent sellers that maybe they've already invested in sustainable features. Maybe they have a living building or a LEED certified project. We want to help tell that story. So much of what goes on in the real estate industry is transactional thinking at best, and it translates down into agents just really don't know anything about sustainability. And for us, we think that the value is there, and we want to help highlight really the intrinsic value of it, not just the bedrooms and the baths and the square feet of what typical marketing goes on. So if you know of anybody that wants to buy or sell these kinds of properties that we're talking about, please reach out to us at Latitude, and be sure to subscribe for another great episode coming up next week.